Hi, it's Sean, and you're listening to The 3-Month Vacation. You've probably heard of the 10,000-hour principle. It's not even a principle. It's been called the 10,000-hour rule in a book called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. The problem with the 10,000-hour rule is that it's flawed. It's not a rule, and it doesn't take 10,000 hours to acquire a skill. But there is a good side to this whole concept of 10,000 hours. It gave people a precise figure to aim for. We can call that figure the base rate of success. That means you need to put in X amount of time, X amount of effort, or do something that will guarantee a certain level of success. Take, for example, the fact that I'm learning French right now. I've gone through 100 days of learning French and spent about an hour every day. How am I doing? Well, it's very hard for me to know the answer to that question because any language is complicated. Not only do you have to understand the grammar and the vocabulary, but also switch between the present, past tense, and that's just the school kind of work, just the boring stuff. In reality, you have to speak whole sentences just like I'm doing right now, whole paragraphs. It's only when you can do that reasonably fluently that you can be said to be able to speak a language. But I have to know my base level of success. If I don't know my base level of success, then all I will do is wake up every day, spend an hour learning the language, and that'll be another hour that I have to find in a very busy day. But as I was going through this particular software, I ran into one piece of information. And it said that kids learn about 1 million sentences by the time they're 5 years old. And that seemed very intimidating. First thing, 5 years is a long time. Secondly, 1 million is even longer. But then there was another piece of information that said if you want a reasonable level of fluency, you have to finish at least 100,000 repetitions. In the last 100 days, I've got to about 30,000 repetitions. That kind of gives me something to work towards. So maybe it's going to take me another 6 months or 9 months. But I know that within that time frame, I'm going to reach the 100,000 repetitions. There are many ways to learn a language. Some say you can learn it through singing and others through storytelling and podcasts and speaking to AI and speaking to a person. But that's not the point. The point is to understand when will you get to a certain destination, just like when you're driving. When will I get from A to B? Just when you're getting in a train, when will I get from A to B? Understanding that concept becomes crucial to sustain the motivation that you need to get to your destination. Because as the saying goes, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. The problem is, any road doesn't take you there. You usually get lost. I started learning Spanish when I was probably 19 years old. I can easily read a book in Spanish. I can hold a conversation for 30 minutes. I'm not fluent. I don't even know if I'm speaking in the right tense, but I get by. That's not fluency. And that's because when I was learning Spanish, I did not have any parameter. I did not have that benchmark I had to shoot for. It was just, let's practice, which is super boring, and you end up spending more time without getting the results. If you want to learn a skill or you want to impart a skill, then you have to make sure that you create this base level of success. In the cartooning course, for example, we tell students that if they start in August, by November, they will have their own character. They will be able to draw their own character. So they are completely skeptical because they can't draw a straight line, and 12 weeks later, they're drawing their own character. and making the character do things, well, but they still have that benchmark, that base level of success that they have to do week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and we get there. That's the base level of success. Not every course, not every system will tell you what you require. Instead, they'll just throw this stupid practice concept at you, and that's not good enough. It's not good enough if you got on a plane and they said, we'll get there when we get there. And I'm not saying that you or I will have an answer to this problem. As a teacher, you might not know when your students are going to get there, what's going to be required. But somehow you have to figure out if they do A, B, and C, then somehow they will get to D or J or K. And similarly, when we're learning something new, we have to have a benchmark. To finish off, let me tell you a story about Alexandre Couillon. He runs a Michelin star restaurant called La Marine on the island of Noirmoutier. Now it's important because the island is separated from the mainland, and he gets visitors only when the sun is shining and everything is nice and warm. But he made a 7-year pledge, and things were not going well. Year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the 6th year, a journalist came in and was doing an interview, and the journalist could feel that sense of isolation and desolation and asked Alexandre, how do you do it? And Alexandre just said, we made a 7-year pledge. We were going to stay in the business, and it was going to take 7 years, after which we would decide what to do. 3 months passed. It's the depth of winter. Nothing's happening. They turn on the car radio, and this is what they hear.
Et oui, cette année, la sortie du guide Michelin. Et grosse nouvelle, le restaurant La Marine prend 1 étoile au Michelin. Et là, on se regarde.
It was an announcement that they had just won a Michelin star. Their base level of success was based on years. Mine is based on repetitions. Some people might decide to do 10,000 hours. Whatever it is that you are trying to achieve, don't just go into it. Set yourself a base level of success. And that's the fire, that's the motivation that you need to get from one point to the other. And that brings us to the end of this podcast. If you haven't already read the book Suddenly Talented, I would very strongly recommend that you do. Go to psychotactics.com/talent and read the book. And it comes with a WhatsApp group. Now, you might think another WhatsApp group, this is one of these boring things that start and then nobody's around. Not with us. You find that it's not only active, but I'm active all the time, except when I'm on holiday. So go to psychotactics.com/talent and you'll find that this book is really helpful in just understanding what you have to do and the mindset you have to have. And with that, I'll say bye for now. Bye-bye. Still listening? When I first started out, I was struggling to write articles. I used to take over 2 days to write an article. And to improve my article writing skill, I decided to write an article every single day. That's how we started out the membership site at 5000 BC. I promised the readers at that point, the people who were subscribing to 5000 BC, that I would write every single day one article on marketing. And I don't know whether they signed up because of that reason. I mean, it's excessive, isn't it? Who wants to read an article every single day of your life? But I was tired of taking 2 days to write every single article. My benchmark was one article every single day. And that's how I got better. And it's the same thing recently. After all of these years, I decided that I wanted to improve my podcasting. When we had the storytelling course a few months ago, I promised, just out of the blue, that I would create a podcast every single day, 5 days a week. It wouldn't be long. It would be just about 7 or 8 minutes in length. And yet I had to do it every single day. I can tell you that my tone, pace, and a lot of the podcasting skill that I have has definitely improved. But more importantly, it was this base level of success that I created. I said that to become better, I need to create one podcast a day, even if it's just 7 minutes long. And I'd be tired after going through all the assignments on the storytelling course, but I'd still come to the office at 4 o'clock in the evening and record the next episode. That's how you do it. You create a base level of success. I'll say bye for now. Go and check out psychotactics.com/talent, and we'll see you in 5000 BC. Bye-bye. Thank you.